as it was. They had to wait for a British rider to win in the Premier Class since Barry Sheen way back in 1981 in Anderstorp at Sweden. Well, Cal Crutchlow ended that long barren run last time out at the Czech Republic in Brno, and from pole position he'll fancy his chances of another podium challenge here, Cal Crutchlow.
No British rider has won the Premier Class at his home Grand Prix.
And it's 1977, and the late great Barry Sheen, who was the last British rider in the Premier Class to win back-to-back races.
Oh, it all points to Cal Crutchlow and Barry
Yeah.
Sheen, doesn't it? We've had an amazing parade today by many of the top men in Barry Sheen's era. A special 40th anniversary of that first World Championship for the late great Barry Sheen. And Cal Crutchlow is a very worthy successor 40 years on.
Yeah, a third pole position then in MotoGP for Cal Crutchlow. The first time we've seen him on the front row of the grid in the Premier Class since Phillip Island, way back in 2014 when he was a factory Ducati rider, of course. And you remember that race, he crashed on the last lap while holding second place.
Here we go, discussion time. Yeah, I saw the replay of the grid in Brno 2 weeks ago, and actually the sound of the riders and the crew chiefs talking. Boy, there was some chatting and changing and some nodding, some shaking of heads going on. As anywhere in the world, he's got his own official fan club grandstand, Valentino Rossi, and that's what the fans in England think about the Doctor. Of course, he secured his first ever Premier Class win at the British Grand Prix the year 2000, but at Donington Park.
Guys, I'm just going to bring you down to the grid here with someone with a rather fancy uniform, Scott Redding. Scott, you've changed your outfit for the British Grand Prix, and how confident are you ahead of this race?
I'm always confident every race, you know. The best thing I can do is go out and try my best for a difficult weekend, but we still pulled quite a good job. So yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see what the weather brings, what the race can bring. We've got a mixed up grid, and yeah, just do the best we can.
There seem to be still quite a few doubts about tyres, but we've seen you come to the grid soft. Are you happy with that choice?
Yeah, I mean, you can't stress too much about things. We didn't have enough laps on hard tyres to try. I mean, I'll just go see what I could do. Go in the race at the beginning, push hard, see if we can get up towards the front, mix it up, and go from there.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Scott. Good luck.
Yeah, I think that's probably the feeling of many of the riders, don't you? It is a step into the unknown. And he's limping a fair bit, isn't he, Andrea Dovizioso? Horrible knee ligament injury, and then wrenched it again yesterday. What about Danny Pedrosa? He won't like these conditions, but this is much more like the old Danny Pedrosa, certainly yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, best qualifying performance for Danny Pedrosa since he was on the front row at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya back in June. And it's the first time this year that he's out-qualified his teammate Marquez, who sits one place behind Pedrosa in fifth. Back down to Dylan on the grid.
Yeah, guys, just a little bit of an update on the tyre news. We said before that Marquez and Lorenzo would have that harder option front tyre. They've now decided to switch to the softer option, but they are sticking with the medium option rear.
There we go. I wonder if there's going to be any even later changes. We will find out. Let's have a look at the clock. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer. 13 minutes before the start of round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship here at Silverstone in difficult conditions. It is dry. They haven't really had a lot of dry time out there at the right time.
Brilliant to see those two. They're pretty fast on two wheels. There's Laura Trott, joined by Jason Kenny, Olympic gold medalist track cyclist. So these two know a thing or two about going around tracks fast on two wheels.
What would it be like going around, what do they call them, the autodromes on a MotoGP bike? That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But
there is Jason Kenny, a six-time Olympic gold medalist in the track.
Great to see them here, and as you can imagine, all over the world. Amazing success in Britain in the Olympic Games, and massive interest on it. Jorge Lorenzo, it's a bit of a conundrum, this one. He's qualified on the third row of the grid. He's got a great record here. So he said his last podium finish was one podium finish in the last 5, and his last win was in Mugello. But he, like Valentino Rossi, can pull things out of the bag. And here is Eugene Lafferty. He could have been talking about pole position, but what a season he's had. And this is probably his very last British Grand Prix.
Yeah, a 6th place on the grid, still an outstanding effort by Eugene Lafferty. but he was quickest through that second sector, wasn't he, in qualifying on that last lap. Cal Crutchlow and Valentino Rossi had already started celebrating their 1-2 on the grid when Eugene Laverty was flying around through the second sector, but he didn't make it through turn number 12, but still finds himself next to the two Repsol Honda machines. A career best qualifying for Eugene Laverty. Back to Dylan again on a very hectic grid.
Yeah, guys, it certainly is hectic down here. Also here around Alex Lowe's. Obviously, Alex, you've come in as a replacement, and I think you've surprised quite a few people with your performance so far. What are you realistically expecting for the race?
I'm unsure about the race. Obviously, I've not done any more than 5 laps on a MotoGP bike. I had just 3 dry sessions, so I have to be realistic. I want to try and race with some of the guys and learn something for next weekend. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I need to concentrate as much as I can and do the best job possible, but it's going to be difficult.
So thank you very much, Alex. Good luck.
Well, he's been mighty impressive. And now I'm sure Hervé Poncharal, we saw them sitting talking in the garage, just telling him, enjoy it, relax, and don't push too hard. But it was just see how it plans out.
He was talking at 200 miles an hour. Alex, he needs to ride at 200 miles an hour, doesn't he now?
If he rides as fast as he's talking, he's got a podium finish.
Do you know what that is? That's nerves.
Oh,
that's nerves,
well,
isn't it?
all the same.
But
that's
he's
why
getting,
I talk so quick.
Yeah, but he's getting a great opportunity. He spoke to Alex Lowe's earlier on the weekend, and he said he remembers being a kid in the family garden pretending to be Valentino Rossi on his BMX all those years ago. Now here he is lining up on the same grid as Valentino Rossi in the British Grand Prix. Fairy tale stuff for Alex Lowe's.
Big race for Andrea Iannone. Good chance of definitely being near the podium. Does start from the middle of that 3rd row of the grid. 8th fastest. Big crash for him in qualifying, and a crash for him again. A crash for him also this morning in the warm-up.
Guys, I'm going to bring it on once more. I'm here with Davide Brivio. Davide, there is some huge expectation around, well, especially Maverick, because he's done so well, especially in these cooler conditions like we have today. Is a podium in it?
I have to say, to be honest, that it's a good opportunity today on a race, but you know, there are so many competitive riders, it's very hard. We're starting well, we had a good weekend, good pace. Then the race is always unpredictable. We start with hard tires, which is the best solution for us. So yeah, we do have expectation, I'll be honest with you. But then I don't want to say too much because the race is then another thing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Davide.
Davide Brivio, head of the Suzuki MotoGP team. Of course, Maverick Vinales has qualified on that front row of the grid. Here is his teammate Aleix Espargaro on the 4th row of the grid, qualified 11th fastest in the middle of a really difficult old run. 4 non-finishes in the last 5 races.
He was doing his best to be cagey there, Davide Brivio, but I tell you what, they really fancy their chances, don't they, today, Suzuki? They are up for this.
Cool conditions suits them.
They are. These are ideal conditions for that Suzuki GSX-RR. And if Maverick Vinales can get away off that front row of the grid, occasionally there's been times when he's found it difficult to get off the line, and certainly challenging the first few laps. So a big onus on the start and the first couple of laps of Maverick Vinales. Here's a man who really has put himself through the mill of Lake Jackman. Great to see him on the grid. A best ever MotoGP qualifying performance of 12th place, but again a couple of crashes this weekend for Miller. Still smiling, but he will be in a lot of pain. I think he was having to take some painkilling injections actually in his right hand, which has been a problem all weekend here after that big warm-up crash in Austria forced him to miss the Red Bull Ring race and last time out in Brno.
Loris Baz, what a ride by him in Brno. Finished in 4th place. His first ever World Superbike win came here in Silverstone 2012, and he won also in 2013. He's had a tough old season with injuries. He rode brilliantly, and if that race had gone on for a couple more laps, he'd have been taking his first MotoGP podium.
Yep, no doubt about it. There's Danilo Petrucci, who was pretty disappointing actually in that wet qualifying yesterday to finish down in 14th place. Dylan?
Yeah, guys, I'm just going to bring it down very quickly here with Paolo Ciabatti. Paolo, we understand soft tyre combinations for most of the Ducatis, but I think one of the big questions is actually Dovi's knee. How's that going to hold up for the race? Have you given him any kind of painkillers?
You know, luckily the conditions this morning were quite okay. Didn't swell during the night, so it's I think he can, with some painkillers, he can cope with the race distance without major problems.
And the soft option rear tyre, obviously you guys must be 100% sure it's not going to drop off too much.
Well, you know, unfortunately we didn't have so much track time on dry conditions, and it's a bit of a gamble. I think we think it's not going to drop dramatically, but obviously, unfortunately, the weather condition didn't allow us to do the proper test, so we'll see.
Okay, thank you very much, Paolo.
Yeah, well, been declared a dry race.
Ducati can gamble though, can't they? Because they're not fighting for the World Championship.
No, they're
so
not.
if anybody can take more of a risk, perhaps than Honda and Yamaha, it is Ducati.
Yeah, and as Andrea Iannone showed just 3 weeks ago, they took the gamble there. It was a personal gamble, he took it, and it paid off handsomely.
Yeah, you wonder if it's not actually, you know, if it's not hot enough really to run that hard tyre. It's cool enough probably to make that soft tyre go the race distance and perhaps not have the significant drop-off that many people think. There's Stefan Bradl, who's obviously heading off to World Superbikes next year.
Yeah, former Moto2 winner here, Stefan Bradl, in 2011. Actually led qualifying 1 yesterday, didn't he, Stefan Bradl, on the Aprilia. Bit disappointing to see him leave the MotoGP World Championship. I'd imagine they do a very good job in the World Superbike Championship.
Yeah, a best of 6th place in his MotoGP career here at Silverstone. That was back in 2013. Here's another man who struggled somewhat surprisingly in those wet conditions yesterday. Hector Barbera down in 18th place. Of course, happy memories of the British Grand Prix at Donington Park many years ago. His first ever Grand Prix victory in 2003 in the 125cc race. His best result in MotoGP here at Silverstone, a 10th back in 2012.
Yeah, 9th in the World Championship. Another great ride by him in Bruno. He finished in 5th place, but he has struggled a little bit. Dylan.
Guys, a little bit of breaking news. Danny Pedrosa has now switched from the medium soft to the, medium rear to soft rear.
They are. And there may be a few more. 5 minutes to go before the start of the British Grand Prix, round 12 of the championship.
Marquez got a second victory in a row.
What a move by Hoyler, and Marquez fights back.
Unbelievable, you know, he's totally
He's brought down the championship lead.
Rossi fights back.
The doctor, the master.
Oh, Rossi's gone down.
Rossi desperately. Miller leads the way. Jack Miller has won here in Assen.
Marquez leads.
The masters. We're back in Austria.
Ducati are going to win in MotoGP again.
Andrea Iannone, his first ever Grand Prix victory.
Crutchlow's through. Crutchlow's in the 4th place.
An amazing battle for 2nd place. Crutchlow up the inside, 46 is up. Valentino Rossi. Cal Crutchlow wins here in Bruno.
Rossi takes 2nd place.
Wow. What's next? I'll be totally honest with you. We have not got the faintest idea. And that's what MotoGP is all about. 20 laps of the Silverstone circuit, 5.900 kilometers, 3.66 miles. The grid now being cleared. It's the riders and machines and their thoughts before this 12th round of the championship gets underway. They're all alone. Probably one of the best time for the riders of the whole week. They haven't got to start thinking about tyres. They haven't got to start worrying about anything, but concentrating on the race ahead. Well, there is a man that is concentrating very hard. So welcome back to Silverstone, round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship. I'm Nick Harris, alongside me, Matt Burt. Down in pit lane, Dylan Gray.
Front row, Cal Crutchlow, Valentino Rossi, Maverick Vinales, all on that hard and medium tyre combination. Row 2, Pedrosa, Marquez and Laverty. Different tyre choices throughout those first 2 rows.
3rd row of the grid, Redding, Iannone and Lorenzo. 4th row of the grid, Dovizioso, Aleix Espargaro and the battered and bruised Jack Miller.
Row 5, headed by Loris Baz, Danilo Petrucci and Pol Espargaro. Row 6, the brilliant standing Alex Lowe's in 16th ahead of Stefan Bradl and Hector Barbera. Row 7, Alvaro Bautista, Yoni Hernandez and Mark VDS rider Tito Rabat, the former Moto2 winner here at Silverstone.
Tyres have been decided. No changing now. One more sighting lap and round 12 of the championship will be underway.
Well, Nick, it's really interesting, the tyre choices in this race, because Cal Crutchlow, Valentino Rossi and Maverick Vinales, the only 3 on the first 3 rows to have gone for that hard option Michelin front tyre. Everybody else behind them, Pedrosa, Marquez, Laverty, Redding, Iannone and Lorenzo are on the soft front. Crutchlow, Rossi, Vinales and Marquez of the top 6 have gone for that medium option rear tyre. There is a real mishmash, a real blend of tyre combinations in this race, and that you feel is going to be the deciding factor, the crucial aspect of this 20-lap battle that's about to unfold.
Final chat with Dylan about the weather before the race gets underway.
No, at the moment, absolutely fine. We've had no rain whatsoever. I mean, the sky does look a little bit threatening, but it shouldn't be a problem at all. Conditions seem to remain exactly the same. Temperature, not the highest, but you know what? Great conditions to go racing in.
Yeah, 18 degrees centigrade, both track and the air temperature. The wind dropped just a little bit. And are they ready for flag to flag in pit lane, Dylan?
Yes, they are. Well, at the moment, they've obviously got their second bike set up for the dry, just in case there's a problem on the lap right now. But I guarantee you, once they start and the start goes well, they'll probably be changing them over to wet setup straight away.
Cracking attendance here today, 73,900, and it's been pouring with rain yesterday. It poured with rain all night, and that is a really decent attendance by the British fans, all hoping above hope that Cal Crutchlow will continue to rewrite the history books. No British rider has ever won the Premier Class race at his home Grand Prix. Not even the late, great Barry Sheen could do that.
Well, the theory at the start of this race should be advantage Ducati, with the likes of Scott Redding, Eugene Laverty, Andrea Iannone and Andrea Dovizioso both going for that soft front, soft rear combination. We'll see how it all pans out. Of course, Marc Marquez in control of the World Championship. 53 points, he sits clear of Valentino Rossi, who himself is 6 points clear of his Movistar Yamaha teammate, Jorge Lorenzo, who's made the right decision. Such an interesting combination of tyres throughout this field. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see this battle unfold. How long will it take Crutchlow, Rossi, Vinales to get the right working temperature into that hard option front tyre?
So the red flag being shown. This is the second row of the grid. The two Repsol Hondas, Danny Pedrosa in the centre there. The championship leader, Marc Marquez, alongside him, Eugene Lafferty. Round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship. Front row, the homeboy, Cal Crutchlow. Alongside him, last year's winner, Valentino Rossi. Completing the front row, the Suzuki of Maverick Vinales. Round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship is underway here at Silverstone.
Crutchlow and Rossi got away well off the front row. Andrea Iannone looked like he'd bogged it off the line. Vinales up the inside, but it's Rossi that will lead going through Copse Corner. Valentino Rossi, race winner here at Silverstone 1 year ago. He leads the way from Cal Crutchlow. Vinales tries to fight back, and it's the Suzuki man that leads through Maggots. Vinales leads the British Grand Prix. Oh, big crash at the back of the field there. Massive crash. Was that Alex Lowe's or Pol Espargaro? It's one of the Adventure Ducatis. We might have this race red flag very early on.
We keep an eye on the red flag situation. Maverick Vinales rides down towards the Stoke corner. We ride with Valentino Rossi. Cal Crutchlow right behind him. We will keep you right up to date. Perhaps this race may have to be stopped as they come into Stoke corner, and it's the Suzuki of Maverick Vinales, the 21-year-old Spaniard, former Moto3 winner here, who's racing away at the start.
Look at Eugene Laverty on those soft option rear tyres and the soft option front. Laverty's up to second place. He's up on the inside of Valentino Rossi going through the Vale. Turn number 8. Rossi, can he fight back? No, he can't. Laverty second.
Eugene Laverty coming up to the
red
far
flag,
corner.
Nick. Red flag
is out.
Yeah.
Race has been stopped. We thought it would be. A nasty looking crash coming into the Maggots corner.
It was definitely one of the Tech 3 Yamahas, and Alex Lowe's was in 16th place. So as we thought, it was definitely Pol Espargaro, and it was one of the Adventure Ducatis, I'm sure. Hector Barber's out there. It's Loris Baz. I think it was an incident with Loris Baz. It was running down that fast first section through Maggots and Beckett's. We thought we might have to see the red flag. There was a lot of damage and debris strewn across the circuit. We hope that Pol Espargaro and Loris Baz are perfectly okay. Turn number 1, it's a little bit further on through the course. There it is, it was Loris Baz. There's his badly damaged Adventure Ducati.
There we go, red flag, an incident at turn 1. I think it was just a bit beyond turn 1, was it at Copse or a little bit further down?
Yeah, I think it was actually, there's Pol Espargaro. Yeah, we thought it was definitely one of the Tech 3 Yamaha rides. I think it was going into Maggots, Nick, through turns 2 and 3.
Yeah. Anyway, we've seen Pol Espargaro going away on the stretcher, but the fact that he's going away on the stretcher, obviously not good, but perhaps not such good news with one of the riders lying on the track at the moment. We will keep you right up to date. If you've just tuned in, British Grand Prix has been stopped on the first lap following an incident at the second corner, the Maggots curve, involving Loris Baz, with pretty certain Alex Lowe's and Paul Espargaro.
Yeah, it's Paul Espargaro and Loris Baz. They were the two riders involved. It was at turn number 2, that really, really fast run down to the Maggots corner.
We've just been told at the moment it's Baz and Espargaro.
Yeah, Lowe's was through. He was in 16th place. So this is the incident, or this was the start. Tell you what, Crutchlow and Rossi got away well, but Vinales got brilliant driving. He's got track position on the inside there. Rossi got the lead. What about further back in the field? Let's have a look for Baz and Paul Espargaro. There they are. They're just going to collide into each other, aren't they, on that run down into Maggots? Let's have a look. What happened there was it looked like Loris Baz. I think it was one of the Pramac Ducatis. It might have been Danilo Petrucci.
I think it was Petrucci, probably. Oh, look.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, they are so lucky.
Both of them are really lucky there.
They both came back on the track. Let's have another look.
I think it looked like Loris Baz was just about, look at that, that's a fast crash. You've got to say the riders further down the field, the likes of Stefan Bradl, Tito Alvaro Bautista, they all did brilliant jobs to take evasive action. We've seen Paul Espargaro going away on the stretcher. Treatment ongoing for the French rider Loris Baz. I'm not sure actually if it might have been Danilo Petrucci. They were just coming up behind him. I think Loris Baz was just perhaps in a fraction too hot and just had to lift up, and as he did on the outside, Paul Espargaro had absolutely nowhere to go. We've got a new race distance. The race will be restarted 1 lap shorter than the scheduled original distance of 20 laps. So as soon as we got information on a restarted time for you, the race will be restarted over a 19 lap distance.
Yeah, a lot of track clearance, as you saw. Well, obviously, the most important thing is that the condition of Loris Baz is receiving treatment there. The track also has to be cleared of a lot of debris, but we wait to hear about the injuries to Loris Baz, but it could have been 100 times worse because both riders came back on the track, didn't they? And as you so rightly said, Matt, some terrific stuff at the back of the field there. A Rabat, and I think it was Bradl, I saw both of them avoiding action. Luckily there is a lot of room to take avoiding action, isn't there? Just the worst thing for the riders. They've had a very nervous grid, talking and working out what tyres to use. At last, all the adrenaline pours out of them as they race into Copse Corner. They're just settling into the rhythm, and then the red flag comes out.
I think what could be interesting, Nick, is of course whether any rider now decides to actually change tyres now that they've had essentially half a lap ridden at full speed, whether they say, actually, do you know what, maybe I did make the wrong choice. So I'll try and do the rounds to see if we do have any.
Yeah. Maverick Vinales looks pretty philosophical about what happened. He was getting away at the front, wasn't he?
He made a brilliant start.
Well, every picture tells a story. Loris Baz still receiving medical treatment at that crash at Maggots curve. Turn 2 here at Silverstone. The track from these very, very good marshals here at Silverstone getting a good clean. Scott Redding back in. And all the riders can do now is wait. We are waiting to see when the race will get underway. They obviously, until Loris Baz is transported away, until the track is cleaned up, they can't restart the race. At the moment, the race will be reduced by 1 lap to 19.
There's Valentino Rossi. He got a good launch off the line in Rossi. So did Cal Crutchlow, and it was Rossi that did, despite that big wheelie there as he's squeezing on the power. It was Rossi that initially got the lead coming out of Copse Corner, but Maverick Vinales was super brave going into that Maggot section to take the lead. Oh, look at that there at the bottom corner of your screen. Danny, was it Marquez and Scott Redding? Yeah, that was a big moment there as well between Marquez and Redding. It looked like actually Scott Redding and Marquez. Marquez did pretty well to stay on board there. It looked like there was contact between Marquez's front wheel and Scott Redding's rear tyre. Big moment there for the former world champion.
It's coming into Copse Corner. There's a fairly big bump just as you're going in as well. But everybody's safely through turn 1. It was turn 2 where the incident happened. We're still waiting for a time of a restart. The lap, it will be 19 laps.
Let's watch Marquez in the centre of your picture, Nick, because it looks like he had a real close call with Scott Redding. Well, there you go. That's how close it was. Marquez was looking to move over to the left-hand side of the circuit to perhaps carry that sweeping outside line through Copse, and as he moved across, well, there was just Scott Redding and Marc Marquez going for the same piece of tarmac. We're going to get a great onboard shot here from Jorge Lorenzo. Here's Marquez. Whoa. That was lucky. That was really
Both
lucky.
could have gone down very easily, and in the pack, and quite near the front of the pack as well. I think we're going to have a look at it again. There is Redding, there is Marquez.
I mean, it was Marc Marquez that made the, not the aggressive move, but Marquez was certainly moving more to the left than what Scott Redding was moving to the right. It was completely accidental. Here we go. We're going to get all angles of this. Brilliant on board from Valentino Rossi, brilliant on board from Jorge Lorenzo as well, giving you perfect images of what happened in that moment between Scott Redding and Marc Marquez. It's a little bit further down the field about right now, where Loris Baz and Pol Espargaro had that high-speed tangle which brought out the red flags on the very first lap.
News coming from the medical centre. Loris Baz is conscious, currently undergoing medical examinations. That is, it's much better news than it could have been. The fact that he's conscious is great news.
His Avinci Ducati team looking on pretty anxiously there. Of course, that's not only making sure that Loris Baz is well-being and that he's okay and can be safely transported to the medical centre. You'd imagine there's a fairly big clean-up operation there. There could be liquid or oil been spilt down because those bikes were extensively damaged, so the track will need to be cleaned up as well for the restart.
I wonder if there's any news on Pol Espargaro. He was taken off on the stretcher, but knowing Pol Espargaro, he'd be desperate to try and get back out there, won't he? We'll have to wait and see. Is his brother Aleix? Yeah, dry mouth, concentrate. Yes. Yeah, look at that. That just sums it up, doesn't it?
It's got to be tough, hasn't it, when you've seen your younger brother being carried off on a stretcher after a high-speed crash on the first lap of a MotoGP race. A big puff of the cheeks there from Aleix Espargaro. He's got to pick himself up mentally to get back out there. Oh, that's great to see. Brilliant there from Loris Baz, just waving to the fans who I'm sure were applauding him as he got back into the ambulance. And Loris Baz, as we saw in those reports, he is conscious and currently undergoing medical examination. He has only, of course, just returned to anything like close to full fitness after a crash at the first corner in Mugello that involved this young man, Jack Miller, and Alvaro Bautista. And Loris Baz missed a couple of races because of that crash, so we wish him well.
We certainly do, and boy, was that medical car there quickly. I saw the medical car following the pack, didn't you?
Oh, the rapid response.
Rapid response was amazing. Yeah, Jack Miller's had an up and down weekend as well. One big crash yesterday in a qualifying coming into Woodcut Corner. One man who's seen it all before and will keep calm and just think it out is Valentino Rossi. That's exactly what he is doing.
Talking about riders thinking things out, we understand that Stefan Bradl is the only rider who is actually going to decide to start with a different tyre choice. He's going to switch from that soft option front to the hard option front. Now, I don't know about when the restart is going to be, but just speaking with the guys down here, we do know it's going to be a quick restart procedure.
Rightio, and 19 laps, so the race will be one shorter. And as you can see now, the track marshals are leaving the part of the circuit where the crash occurred. So it does appear we could be underway pretty quickly, although perhaps there may be some sort of track inspection just to see that's okay. But pit lane open at 15:48. We're 15:41 at the moment. Quick restart procedure. There you go, 15:48.
6 minutes.
Yeah, and you would imagine the race can get underway pretty soon after that.
And if you're not familiar with the quick restart procedure, of course, introduced for the first time this year, it means the riders will go out for a sighting lap. They'll form on the grid with one mechanic available for them on the grid, and then it will be the quick restart procedure. We'll be straight away back underway for a 19-lap British Grand Prix.
Well, they've been pretty patient, the crowd. They've been richly entertained with Moto2 and Moto3. And I think they're going to be richly entertained in MotoGP, but this is just what the teams and the riders did not want.
Dylan, is there any information on whether Pol Espargaro is going to be fit enough to make this restart, or will he be missing from the grid?
None at the moment. I'll try and keep you guys posted as soon as I can.
They go view of the Silverstone circuit. Stays that first British Grand Prix 1977. Of course, before then, the round of the World Championship was at the TT races in the Isle of Man. There you go. They're following Bertie's words, sat next to me to put it up on the screen. Look, there is everything about the quick procedure. They tried the quick procedure for Moto2, didn't they, in Mugello? And some of the teams had not read the instructions, and it turned into, well,
bit of a mess.
Bit of a mess. And I think now all the teams, and you'd have thought MotoGP teams anyway, would have taken full notice of what happens when the race is stopped, and they want to get it going as quickly as possible. So it's got to happen all over again. Pit lane will be opened in, well, just about 4 minutes' time. Lights are still on red. Obviously, I don't think there was any doubt when we saw the accident and so much debris across the track, apart from anything else, that the race was going to have to be stopped.
Because I was just speaking with the team, so Pol Espargaro is still not back here yet. I said, you know, how is he? They said, more or less okay. I asked, is he going to ride? They said, well, they're still not sure.
Dylan, just as well about the tyres and the restart. I mean, of course, these riders, they only did half a lap at full racing speed before the red flag came out. And they haven't used a lot of slick tyres this weekend. So has anybody decided to keep the same combination but put in new tyres for the restart, or are they just running what they started in the first race?
Now, from what I've heard from Michelin is that no one's actually changed. We saw a few little swaps going on, but do you know what? With the few laps that they've done, it doesn't look like anyone has actually popped in a new tyre of that same combination. As I said, only Stefan Bradl has decided to change. However, I can't see all the changes going on here in pit lane, so I'll pop myself at the end when they're going out to see if I see anything completely fresh.
We ride with Cal Crutchlow at the start, that has been aborted because of the accident at turn 2. There's Valentino Rossi up his inside. In a minute, you're going to see Suzuki come through on both of them. And that is Maverick Vinales. There he is, absolutely on cue.
Pretty brave by Vinales, wasn't it, to sweep up the inside of Crutchlow and Rossi. There was room there, and he made it stick brilliantly. And he has started to open up a bit of a gap at the front. Eugene Laverty had just climbed up to second place ahead of Rossi, actually, when the red flag came out. There is Cal Crutchlow. Have to do it all over again. Wasn't a bad launch off the line for Crutchlow. It was just that Rossi and Vinales just had that inside line going into the first corner.
Yeah, he was right in there with them, wasn't it? It wasn't a bog start or anything else. No. It was a start that put him right there. Jorge Lorenzo listening to his music as he does, getting into the zone.
I mean, sometimes as crazy as this sounds, you know, pole position at Silverstone might not be one of the better pole positions to have, because you are on the outside of the track going into that first corner. We've seen it already a couple of times today. The pole man not necessarily getting the whole shot because you're on the outside of the track. It's too risky to just sweep across the nose of the two riders that have qualified in second and third. A perfect illustration of it there is Vinales on that inside line, which is able to sweep up the inside of the two men who qualified ahead of him. We're on board now with the Suzuki man. Rossi got a bit of a wheelie as he got on the gas off the line. Clear track in front of him. We'll see that Crutchlow and Rossi though sweep through, but Vinales has got the inside line. He's got brilliant drive as well to hold it over Rossi coming into the maggot section, and he led then for the remainder of the lap. Going on behind him there was a bit of carnage and chaotic scenes as Loris Baz and Pol Espargaro went down very heavily, but thankfully it seems that both are okay, and we will be underway very, very shortly here at Silverstone. The pit lane will be open in just under a minute's time.
Yeah, coming up to, just around a minute's time, and it's the quick start procedure. So the race reduced by 1 lap, like 19 laps. Round 12 of the championship will get underway. Marc Marquez in deep concentration leads that championship by 53 points. A couple of crashes for him this weekend, Friday morning on a cold tyre, and a big crash yesterday at Copse Corner during qualifying. And a big incident for him at the race start between him and Scott Redding. And we're having a look at this at every angle. If it's going to be a red card, the older referees panel have had a really good look, haven't they?
Yeah, that was close. Big contact between Marc Marquez and Scott Redding. Redding had just started to move across to his right. Marc Marquez had made a pretty big move to his left. Here we go, perfect on board this is. There we go. Just a case of two riders just trying to fight for the same piece of tarmac. There was no intent whatsoever. It was just a purely accidental collision between the two. Marc Marquez was probably the more fortunate of the two to stay on though, because he got a real whack on that front tyre.
So here we go. Pit lane will open in 10 seconds time. We're underway once again. It will be the quick start procedure. The race reduced by 1 lap. It's just tuned in. The race was stopped halfway through the first lap after a crash involving Pol Espargaro and Loris Baz at turn 2. Both riders slid across the track back into the path of others. They were lucky not to be hit, with a lot of debris down there as well. Both riders have been taken to the medical centre. Loris Baz on the stretcher but waving to the crowd and conscious, so it doesn't look like it's a really serious incident, which is the most important news of the afternoon so far.
Yeah, so they've got 60 seconds, these riders, to make it out of the pit lane. Dylan?
Yeah, Matt, you asked earlier about if does anyone have completely fresh rubber on. The only ones I could see is it looked like Marquez had a new front on there, and Valentino Rossi definitely has both other tyres new. Other bikes going out, they did not have that same sheen on the tyre, so it looks like not everyone has changed to brand new rubber. But you know what? I think that should ultimately not really make the difference in the end.
Here's Valentino Rossi. Anybody who saw him win the race here last year was a masterclass of wet weather riding from the master of MotoGP, 9 times world champion, of course.
So the pit lane's now closed.
They didn't have long to get out, did they? That is the new procedure to speed things along.
And it might be obvious for you guys, but just to confirm, so Pol Espargaro didn't get back to the box, so he won't be riding.
Okay, so it'll be a 19-rider field with Loris Baz and Pol Espargaro out of this rerun.
19 riders for 19 laps then in this British Grand Prix. The race distance reduced by 1 lap after that red flag. Here we are then for the quick restart procedure. As we told you, only 1 mechanic permitted on the grid to greet their riders, and then we will be underway very, very shortly.
And the grid obviously will remain the same. Crutchlow, Rossi, Vinales front row, Pedrosa, Marquez, Lafferty second row, Redding, Iannone, Lorenzo third row, Dovizioso, Espargaro, that's Aleix Espargaro, and Jack Miller the 4th row. Loris Baz, well, he won't be there. Danilo Petrucci and Pol Espargaro won't be there. That would have been the 6th row of the grid. Alex Lowe, Stefan Bradl and Hector Barber. Now Alvaro Bautista, Yoni Hernandez, who led the way in the wet warm-up, and Tito Rabat, former Moto2 winner here. Grid forming up very quickly indeed. 19 laps now then. Round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship. Cal Crutchlow in pole position. Eugene Lafferty absolutely flying in that first half lap of the race before it was red flagged up into 2nd place. As we've seen in these situations so often, usually it's a complete turnaround 2nd time round.
Well, Eugene Lafferty did exactly what he needed to do, because on that soft front tyre and soft rear tyre, he's going to have, you think, an advantage at the start of the race compared to some of those around him. So he had to go a bit gung-ho at the start. He did it brilliantly to get away. Well, he'd just taken 2nd place from Valentino Rossi with a brave move down at the Vale chicane before the red flag came out. So Eugene Lafferty again will be looking to make the repeat of that start as the grid quickly clears then for this quick restart.
My God, that grid did clear quickly. Right, restart. 19 laps, completely new race. Round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship here at Silverstone.
So warm-up lap for the 2nd time of asking for these riders just to get some temperature into those tyres. Valentino Rossi, as Dylan pointed out, he did decide to throw in a completely new set of hard option front Michelin tyre, new Michelin rear tyre. We're going to get some great action, aren't we, from this brand new 360-degree gyroscopic camera, bringing you literally right into the heart of the battle.
Right to the face of Maverick Vinales. He's behind him, look. Great helicopter shot. This is coming down towards the Stoke corner, the far end of the circuit. Crowd here, 75,000. I think that's probably a record crowd on race day for the British Grand Prix. Certainly since it returned in 2010 it is. Let's just have a look at those temperatures. 19 degrees, actually a little bit, 18 both the same, track and air. And that wind is still a little bit gusty, but probably won't affect the MotoGP machines as much as it would have done Moto3 or even Moto2.
So Cal Crutchlow then, for the 2nd time of asking, will start the British Grand Prix from pole position.
Can he claim 2 pole positions for that?
I bet you will be asking Tissot for another watch.
Yeah, and he'll probably be claiming in the record books.
And he'll be asking Lucio for another pole bonus as well.
Yeah, he will. We ride with Marc Marquez. Don't rule him out in any way in this race, Marc Marquez. He's had a bit of an up-and-down weekend, but he's had plenty of those in his career. Former winner here in 125 and also MotoGP. Some great races here. Crashed out here last year in the rain. And he crashed out yesterday, and exactly, it was a carbon copy crash with the weather and where he went down at turn 1 at Copse Corner. This is down at Brooklands. Stefan Bradl, perhaps his last British Grand Prix before he goes to World Superbikes. Some brilliant evasive action by him when Paul Espargaro and Loris Baz came back across the track in the cross. They're through Luffield. 53 points separating Marquez and Rossi in the World Championship. This is a race that Valentino Rossi has to win if it's going to have any chance of pulling back some decent points advantage on the championship leader. Front row lines up. Red flag shown again. Valentino Rossi in the centre of the front row of the grid. We're with Cal Crutchlow in pole position, completing that front row. Maverick Vinales, who was leading the race after half a lap when the red flag went out. Second time around, green flag being shown. 19 laps this time round. Round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship, the home of British motorsport.
Rossi and Crutchlow got away well for the second time of asking. Not such a good start for Maverick Vinales this time around. It's Crutchlow then that leads the British Grand Prix. Dani Pedrosa got away well from 4th place as well. He's putting pressure on Maverick Vinales. We're on board with Valentino Rossi through the Maggots section for the first time. It's Cal Crutchlow that leads his home race.
Vinales coming right up behind Valentino Rossi, but Crutchlow, to the delight of the crowd, comes onto the hangar straight, leading the way. There is Jorge Lorenzo. Behind him, Andrea Iannone. Crutchlow coming to pressure. 320 kilometres an hour as they come into Stoke Corner. Rossi coming up the inside. Here comes Maverick Vinales also. Crutchlow holds firm just.
Vinales gets through on Valentino Rossi. Brilliant late move on the brakes from the Spanish rider then. He now leads the charge on Crutchlow. Andrea Iannone, he's got up the inside of 3 riders. Iannone was up the inside of Scott Redding, Dani Pedrosa and Jorge Lorenzo on the run down to the Vale chicane. Brilliant by the Italian.
Remember the overtake at Phillip Island last season? That was right up there with him. Along the international pit straight. Rossi coming under pressure, and it's Maverick Vinales that's taken the lead into Abbey.
Sorry, a bit of disservice there to Maverick Vinales. Thought it was Rossi that was sweeping through. So Vinales, just as he did last time out in the initial start, leads the British Grand Prix on the opening lap. Marc Marquez bravely around the outside of Valentino Rossi. He's got the inside line for the loop. Rossi goes back to 4th place. Andrea Iannone is a man on the charge. There he is into 5th place. Dani Pedrosa 6th. Scott Redding 7th.
Wow, that was aggressive stuff from Marquez. Down the Wellington Straight. Into Brooklands they come. And Maverick Vinales on the Suzuki, just opening up a little bit of an advantage as they come up to Luffield and Woodcut. 19 laps. There will be 18 left when they cross the line.
Still trying to understand how Andrea Iannone got that Ducati stop going into Vale on that first lap, because it was quite a breathtaking move. Vinales then will lead over the line at the end of the first lap from Crutchlow, from Marquez. Rossi got pushed back to 4th. Iannone, Pedrosa, Redding, Lorenzo, Dovizioso and Aleix Espargaro. That's your top 10.
Yeah, a little bit further down we have Jack Miller, Eugene Lafferty, Petrucci Bradle, Batista Hernandez, Alex Lowe's, Tito Rabat and Hector Barbara. That's your top 19.
Eugene Lafferty hasn't been able to capitalise on those soft option rear tyres second time around. He was second, of course, before the red flags came out earlier on. He's down in 12th place, though, now as Jorge Lorenzo's picked his way through on Scott Redding. They power out of the Chapel Curve, down the hangar straight. It's Maverick Vinales that's opened up a lead of over 4/10 of a second. Crutchlow under pressure from Marquez. Marquez is through. Can Rossi also find a way through? Marquez, second.
Yeah, Marquez into 2nd place. Rossi almost got up the inside of Cal Crutchlow, through Vale, down towards the club corner. Here comes Crutchlow, up the inside of Valentino Rossi. He can't find a way through. Sorry, up the inside of Marquez. He can't find a way through as they come onto the international pit straight.
Marquez just too late on the brakes going into Vale for Cal Crutchlow. Marquez, of course, he's got that soft option front Michelin tyre on, so that will perhaps be up to working temperature, a little bit quicker than the hards that Rossi and Crutchlow have got on at the moment. Vinales, though, is doing a really good job at the front of this field. He's stretching them away. Marquez is desperately trying to hang in there. The gap between Vinales and Marquez already up to nearly 8/10 of a second.
Valentino Rossi trying all he can to get past Cal Crutchlow and Andrea Iannone. We've seen some great overtaking from him, closing up on these all the time. But Maverick Vinales on the Suzuki, chasing his first ever Grand Prix win, is, well, getting away at the moment as they come down towards Brooklands, but a long, long way to go. Just over 17 laps to go.
Rossi in a little bit hot down at Brooklands, turn number 16. He didn't leave the door open ajar enough for Andrea Iannone to sweep through. Iannone's still in 5th place ahead of Dani Pedrosa. Here comes Maverick Vinales, though, through Woodcote Corner to complete lap number 2. And he's probably leading this British Grand Prix now by over a second. just, yeah, he's 9/10 of a second quicker than Marquez. Vinales, fastest lap of the race at 2:02.339, half a second faster on lap 2 than Marquez.
We ride with the number 25, former Moto3 winner here at Silverstone. Needed a good start. He's got that good start. Last Suzuki to finish on the podium at the British Grand Prix, Randy Mamola in 1983.
2007, 9 years ago since Chris Vermeulen, the Australian. Bit of marshals running in the background. I'm not sure if we've had a faller coming through Magnus and Becky's. Look at the gap that Maverick Vinales has been able to establish now at the end of the Hangar straight. Yeah, Stefan Bradl was the faller. We just saw some marshals running there and crash at turn 3 for the German rider. But Maverick Vinales is checking out on the Suzuki.
This would be an historic win. There he is, Stefan Bradl, probably his last British Grand Prix, certainly for 2 years anyway. And a turn 3 coming up. Down he goes on the Aprilia. He's great cloud. It's just clipped the curve.
He's clipped the back of Eugene Laverty. That's what's happened there. He's got in too hot and it's pushed Eugene Laverty wide. So Eugene Laverty, that's dropped him further back down the field. Laverty's now back in. Well, he's probably in last place, actually, unfortunately. Oh, problems for Scott Redding. He's crashed at turn number 8. Scott Redding was running in 9th place.
Scott Redding. Looks like we're trying to restart the bike, but it looks like major problems for Scott Redding. Crashing out, coming into that, through Vale into that club corner. Back at the front. Well, at the front, there's only one man in it at the moment as they come down to Brooklands. There is Maverick Vinales, then Marquez. Cal Crutchlow still in 3rd place. Rossi behind him. Andrea Iannone. Danny Pedrosa also well placed behind Danny Pedrosa. Jorge Lorenzo beginning to close up on the jerk with Andrea Dovizioso behind him. Yeah. The gap now 1.3 seconds for Maverick Vinales.
On board with Rossi through this magnificent Woodcote corner. Maverick Vinales is already over the line to start lap number 4. He's 1.3 seconds clear of Marquez. Crutchlow, Rossi, Iannone and Pedrosa. They've all just put in personal best laps of the race.
Right with Marquez, he hasn't been able to break away from the group, and if anything, Cal Crutchlow has brought the group closer to Marquez as they go down through the Maggots, Beckett's Chapel complex and onto the Hangar straight.
Crutchlow and Rossi have got to get through on Marquez because Maverick Vinales, Crutchlow and Rossi have got the same tyre combination as the Suzuki man, but the longer they spend behind Marquez, the more of a gap Vinales can open up and the more space and the more comfort zone he's got in the latter stages of the race. Crutchlow and Rossi, again, they just can't find a way through Marquez with that soft option front tyre.
We ride with Marquez. Here comes Cal Crutchlow through Vale, up the inside at Club. Has he gone through this time round? No. You're so right. They just cannot prize an opening, can they? As they come through Club onto the international back straight, or the international pit straight. This is where the Formula 1 cars start their race stop, and up towards Abbey. And already Maverick Vinales is in Abbey, but a terrific battle now going on for 2nd place because Danny Pedrosa's closing up all the time.
Well, in the first 2 sectors on this 4th lap, Maverick Vinales has been able to stretch out another half a second. The likes of Crutchlow, Rossi and Iannone are being held up here by Marquez. They've got to find a way through before it's too late. There's still 16 laps to go, but Maverick Vinales is already in a race of his own. Crutchlow and Rossi have got to get through on Marquez. The problem is Marquez is such a demon on the brakes. They just can't find a way through to make a pass safely.
This is where they might try. We ride with Valentino Rossi. That's Crutchlow in front of them. They're not close enough as they go into Brooklands.
No way through this time around. In fact, Marquez, if anything, just opened up 4 or 5 bike lengths. They came out on the gas, coming out of the Aintree corner onto the Wellington straight. We're on board with the race leader, the Spanish rider, the 21-year-old Maverick Vinales. He comes over the line now to complete lap number 4. And his advantage is 1.8 seconds. He was half a second quicker that time around than the chasing pack.
Yeah, first Grand Prix victory, I won't say in the reckoning for him. It's a long, long way to go in the Premier class. He's a former Moto3 winner here. He was the Moto3 world champion. Just 1 podium finish for him this season at Suzuki. That was at Le Mans. And of course, he joins Valentino Rossi at Yamaha next season. They're trying all they can, Crutchlow and Rossi, to get through on Marquez, but he is just not giving them 1 single inch, as you would expect. This is where they're going to try again. Crutchlow trying to get a little bit of a slipstream, as is Rossi. They come into Stoke Corner. They try everything to get through, but they haven't got the pace to get past him.
Iannone and Pedrosa hanging in there in this battle for second place. Just off them is Lorenzo in 7th, Dovizioso in 8th place, and Aleix Espargaro in 9th. They're having a good three-way fight for that 7th spot. Jack Miller's having a good ride in 10th.
What about Alex Lowe? Still going extremely well because it's Petrucci in 11th. 12th is Hernandez, Bautista 13th, and Alex Lowe's in the points in 14th.
Poor old Eugene Laverty caught up in that incident with Stefan Bradl at Maggots. He's down in 17th place at the moment. He's only got Scott running behind him, who's crashed out the race. He's Crutchlow close up this time. Rossi, though, finds a way through. Great move by Rossi. Crutchlow leans on him. Can Rossi get away through? No, he can't. Oh, he almost has his front wheel taken there by Crutchlow. Crutchlow had the inside line going through the loop. That was close. Rossi can sense that Vinales is checking out to a distance here that he won't be able to claw back.
Yeah, he wants to get past Cal Crutchlow. Crutchlow wants to try and get past Marquez. Pretty aggressive stuff from both riders. Here comes Rossi once again at Brooklands. Can he make it stick? He does. Valentino Rossi up into 3rd place. This time there's nothing Cal Crutchlow can do.
Yeah, because Marquez was actually starting to pull away from Crutchlow in 2nd. So Rossi deciding that the time was right. He had to go. He tried it at Village, didn't quite make it stick. He got it right at Brooklands. So here we go then, start of lap number 6. It's Vinales the leader by 2.2 seconds now over Marquez. Rossi's half a second behind Marquez, 2.6 seconds back of Maverick Vinales. 14 laps, still plenty of time for Rossi to eke his way back into contention. To time, of course, for Marquez.
They are hanging on by their fingernails, aren't they? Andrea Iannone and Danny Pedrosa at the back of this group. Yeah, Maverick Vinales, amazing ride by the 21-year-old at the front. He's looked good all weekend.
I wonder if that means that's lap 13.
Yeah.
It's an SW, which I wonder if it means switch. You've got to maybe change the mapping just to maybe double the power limit. Rossi's up the 2nd place. Rossi is charging. Rossi's through on Marquez down at the Stowe corner. Valentino Rossi's got heat in that hard option front tyre. Then Rossi up to 2nd on lap number 6. What is the gap then between Rossi and Vinales? We'll check them very shortly as they come through the 2nd sector. Pedrosa's made a move on Iannone as well. Pedrosa up to 5th.
This is going to be a very interesting 2 or 3 laps. Has Valentino Rossi got any chance of repeating his victory of last season? Keep looking at those lap times because he has got in front. And Marquez closes right up on Valentino Rossi. Rossi will be able to hear that Honda in his ears right behind him. He knows he can't make any sort of mistake. And he knows if Marquez gets through on him, it will impede him and it will just allow Vinales to get further away at the front.
Yeah, Marquez ran wide going into Abbey Corner. He just got a little bit too close to Valentino Rossi. Just had to shut off, run wide. The gap between Vinales and Rossi through the 3rd section is 2.4 seconds with 13 laps and 3 corners of this British Grand Prix remaining.
And the battle for 2nd place still continues to rage. Valentino Rossi with Marquez right behind him. They're coming into Woodcote. When they cross the line, there will be 13 laps to go. They cross the line now. Well, Maverick Vinales crosses the line now. Here come the others chasing after him. Familiar number 25, that blue Suzuki into Copse Corner. The gap, 2.5 seconds. But Rossi is starting to open a little bit of an advantage now over Marquez. These next few laps are going to tell us an awful lot about what Valentino Rossi's got left in the locker with that harder compound tyre now beginning to pay a few dividends.
Yeah, Maverick Vinales, even though Valentino Rossi put in his personal best lap of the race with a 2:02.745, looked like Aleix Espargaro had just run off, although maybe it was Scott Redding actually just, he's crashed again. Scott Redding's having a home Grand Prix to forget. Turn number 13, unlucky for the British rider.
Yeah, that's the entry corner for Scott Redding.
This was his first crash. That was at turn number 8, and this is his 2nd one. Turn number 13, almost identical, just rolling off the side of the front tyre. So Scott Redding's Superman leathers haven't been able to catapult him to a decent result on home soil. Pramac Ducati look on. Yeah, Rossi is slowly edging away from Marquez. He's making no impression on Maverick Vinales, though. Vinales keeping the gap at 2.5 seconds through the 2nd split on lap number 7.
We ride with a 21-year-old Spaniard, former Moto3 world champion, 1 season in Moto2, then joining Suzuki. Probably regarded as the hottest property in Grand Prix racing at the moment, chasing his first ever MotoGP victory. He leaves Suzuki at the end of the season. Davide Brivio, who we spoke to on the grid, team manager of Suzuki. looks nervous.
He was trying to downplay their chances when he spoke to Dylan, wasn't he? But you could tell that they were really, really confident. Maverick Vinales, certainly on Friday, was very, very fast on slick tyres, and these are these cool conditions where the Suzuki does thrive. It's in the hotter ambient temperatures, the hotter track conditions where the Suzuki really struggles for rear grip. And Maverick Vinales said all of his time on Friday was spent working on electronics to try and conserve his tyres in the second half of the race.
2.8 seconds now he leads away, and I tell you, Marquez is closing up on Rossi all the time. Rossi's not been able to get away. We're looking at a fantastic replay. 200 kilometers an hour as he comes into Woodcut Corner.
Yeah, Marquez last time around put in a personal best lap of the race. He was a fraction faster than Valentino Rossi. You'd think Vinales and Rossi with that hard option front, medium option rear would have the better tyre life in the second half of the race over Marc Marquez. So it'll be interesting to see how Marquez can hang in there in this battle for the podium. He's doing a good job of holding off Crutchlow, Pedrosa and Iannone at the moment.
Yeah, Iannone, after looking so fierce, taking two riders going into club corner, really has not made a lot of progress since then, has he? And in fact, Dani Pedrosa has got past him.
But I think we do need to think that Pedrosa and Iannone, as well as Dovizioso behind, are on that softer option rear tyre, the front four on the medium. And considering what Iannone did in Austria last time out, just conserving the tyre right until the end, you don't know whether those guys are actually just quite comfortable sitting there right now.
Yeah, behind Andrea Iannone, we get a glimpse there of Jorge Lorenzo running in 8th place, and Alessio Spargaro on the second of the Suzukis in 9th. Then it's Petrucci 10, Miller 11, Hernandez 12, Bautista 13, 14 is Hector Barbera, and 15th place is Alex Lowes.
Looks like it will be a 6th successive race without a victory for Jorge Lorenzo. His championship challenge is fading very fast, with Marc Marquez again in the podium places.
Marquez will want to beat Valentino Rossi, but he won't be too disappointed if he just finishes one place behind him as far as the championship goes.
We're into the 4th sector now, where the Honda's been working well all weekend. This is where Marquez should be able to close down a little bit on Valentino Rossi. Maverick Vinales, you can see in the top left-hand picture of your screen, is coming over the line to start lap number 9. And the gap between Vinales and Rossi's eked out again is 2.7 seconds. Marquez and Crutchlow setting their personal best laps last time around, but Valentino Rossi holding firm in 2nd place. But Maverick Vinales is running away with this British Grand Prix.
Here he is for this magnificent Maggotts, Beckett's and Chapel Curb complex. Switch now back to Marquez. Well, just coming under a little bit of pressure from Cal Crutchlow. We ride now with Cal Crutchlow, pole position for the British rider. This is this section, it is superb. Right, left, right, left, right.
Looked like he briefly got ahead of Marc Marquez there, but Marquez just held firm.
Through the Vale section, halfway through this lap, so that will be 10.5 laps to go. It's a 19-lap race. First race will stop halfway through the first lap following the accident of Paul Spargo and Loris Baz. They come onto the international pit straight, and he's got about a good half of that straight to his advantage, hasn't he, Maverick Vinales, as he tips it into the Abbey curve.
Well, this is why Suzuki signed him after just 1 year in the Moto2 World Championship. This is why Yamaha have signed Maverick Vinales to replace Jorge Lorenzo next year. We're on board with Dani Pedrosa, who's locked in this brilliant fight for 2nd place. You can see Rossi, Marquez and Cal Crutchlow just ahead of him. You can't see the race leader, Maverick Vinales, because he's just a dot in the distance going down the Wellington Straight, the Spanish rider.
Back to the battle for 2nd place. Rossi and Marquez into Brooklands.
Well, he's like a dog with a bone, Marquez. Rossi can't break him, can he?
And he's quite happy where he is because it's great for the championship. But he wants to beat him, doesn't he? He wants to beat him desperately. And I'm afraid, whatever the team have told him, whatever the instructions he's received, he's in his zone now, isn't he? He wants to beat Valentino Rossi. This is going to go all the way to the end, I promise you.
3 seconds, the gap now between Vinales and Rossi. So Vinales 3 seconds up for the first time in this race. It's a great battle. A 5-rider fight for 2nd place at the moment. Big speed wobble for Marquez. He lost acceleration and drive coming out of Copse Corner. Cal Crutchlow says thank you very much. The British rider sweeps through into 3rd.
brilliant stuff from Crutchlow. Mistake from, well, don't mind a mistake from Marquez. I don't think there was an awful lot he could do about it. They come down the hanger straight now towards the Stowe corner. Vinales has disappeared, and Cal Crutchlow is on the podium as we stand. But with 9.5 laps to go, that can change dramatically. Here comes Andrea Iannone up the inside of Danny Pedrosa. Pushes him wide. Iannone sure he's got the inside line. He has now. Perhaps he has been conserving his tyres, as he did in Austria 3 weeks ago.
Well, he's got work to do because he's given Maverick Vinales a 4-second start, and normally MotoGP you can't do that at this level. Vinales has long gone into the distance, so Iannone up into 5th. This was where Marquez had problems. Yeah, look at that, he just lost, if he hit a bump there and just lost the rear as he came over a bump, but we know the Honda's had some acceleration problems. Yeah, he's squeezing the power on there, and he just rear tyre spinning up, lost all momentum down into Magus, and Cal Crutchlow was able to sweep quite easily through. Crutchlow now swarming all over the rear tyre of Valentino Rossi.
Well, Maverick Vinales is disappearing into the distance, but there's a tremendous battle still continuing for second place. A 3-second advantage now. Onto the Wellington straight they come. Cal Crutchlow closing up on Valentino Rossi. Will he try to get up the inside on the brakes? No, he is not close enough. That last Suzuki win, I think we've probably got to start saying that now. But last Suzuki win, 2007, Chris Vermeulen.
Yeah,
is it at Le Mans?
Yeah, in the wet, yeah. I'm sure Chris, in his role of pundit for Australian TV, will be cheering on Maverick Vinales, watching his ex-factory potentially end their long run without success. It's Crutchlow up the inside of Rossi there, down into Kopp's corner.
Very hard indeed, not quite into Kopp's corner. Marquez fighting back, Iannone on the rear wheel of Marquez. I tell you, this battle for second place is going to explode, and Iannone through on Marquez. Iannone, I think, is the man to watch at the moment on the Ducati.
I think Marquez is having real problems with rear grip coming out of the Kopp's corner, because that's the second lap in a row now that he's lost position. Crutchlow last time around, this time around it was Andrea Iannone.
We ride with Marquez, that's his teammate, Danny Pedrosa behind him. So the gap would be reduced to 44 points. So he's taken 9 points off him if this remains the same, with Valentino Rossi staying in second place. And of course, Maverick Vinales also winning the race. And Vinales will be closing right up in the battle for third place with Jorge Lorenzo.
Yeah, Andrea Iannone looks really, really threatening there in 4th place. He's closing up on Cal Crutchlow as they sweep through the club corner. Look at the corner speed that Iannone can carry with those softer option tyres.
There, wasn't he? Tremendous grip out of the club corner, up the inside of Crutchlow. You know, there is absolutely nothing Cal Crutchlow can do. And it reminds me of Cal Crutchlow and Bruno, the way he was finding that grip.
So Iannone then up into the podium place. His next in his sights will be Valentino Rossi. Maverick Vinales is about to go 4 seconds clear of this chasing pack. This is a great battle raging for second place. We're on board with Andrea Iannone looking back at Bruno winner Cal Crutchlow. The way that Iannone scythed his way through on Marquez and Cal Crutchlow on this lap, well, Valentino Rossi will be having a very big problem very, very shortly.
He's arriving at speed, that red Ducati down at Brooklands. Dylan.
Yeah, if you look, it's only Vinales and Iannone that are in the 202s. I think now we've seen this big drop-off that they said, because they've all of a sudden now almost everyone dropped into the 203s. It's only Vinales and Iannone who've avoided that so far.
What happened on Friday? The superior race pace was from Maverick Vinales and Andrea Iannone. It was clear to see on the timesheets on Friday afternoon. So Iannone up the inside of Valentino Rossi. He's making this look easy. Andrea Iannone, in a lap and a half, he's passed Marquez, Crutchlow and Rossi.
He's scything through them like a knife through butter. Now, with just under 8 laps to go, can he make any impression on Maverick Vinales at the front?
Well, he needs to be lapping half a second a lap faster then, doesn't he? And the way Maverick Vinales has been in complete control. Iannone himself dropped into the 203s last time round. Here comes Rossi fighting back.
Rossi's not having it, is he? They're absolutely side by side, 320 kilometres an hour. What a great shot, and Rossi's going to outbrake him into Stowe, and he's done it.
Oh, it feels like he can reach out and touch. Andrea Iannone there, coming into the braking zone. Aleix Espargo will have a 1 second penalty added to his lap time. Rossi is through. This is a great fight for second place. And of course, while they're tripping each other up, Maverick Vinales is just eking away at the front. He does lead now by 4.3 seconds, Vinales. Surely it's his race to lose now.
It might not be a race at the front, but it's an unbelievable race for second place and full marks to Valentino Rossi. We thought Andrea Iannone was going to disappear into the distance. Rossi had other thoughts, but Iannone would come back at him. Crutchlow coming into the fray as well as they go through the farm curve. Crutchlow almost getting up the inside of Andrea Iannone. Marquez and Pedrosa joining in the fun. This is mayhem. What a battle for second place as they come onto that Wellington straight.
Yeah, it looked like Crutchlow with that hard option front tyre. He's a bit more braking stability than Andrea Iannone going down into that village corner. Wasn't quite able to find his way through on Andrea Iannone. Dovizioso's come right back into this battle for second place as well. He's just at the back of this group in 7th place. Dovizioso. Don't rule him out of this fight for second place.
7 laps to go. Vinales has already crossed the line. Rossi crosses the line now. Boy, that's a gap of 4.8 seconds, but I don't think we're too worried about that as Iannone gets back up the inside of Valentino Rossi at Copse Corner. Crutchlow trying to ride round the outside of him. It's like a speedway match as they're racing through there at 120 miles an hour. Down towards the Maggots corner.
This is like a Moto3 race in MotoGP. Fantastic action. Maverick Vinales again was half a second quicker than this chasing group. 4.8 seconds now he leads this race. He's coming down to the end of the hanger straight for Stowe Corner while these group are still just coming onto this hanger straight. Iannone then can he make the breakaway from Rossi, Crutchlow, Marquez, Pedrosa and Dovizioso? Surely it's too late to hunt down Maverick Vinales. Here we go, Iannone up the inside of Valentino Rossi at the first corner. Quite literally a bird's eye view from Rossi's Yamaha M1.
And that's of course where Iannone went down yesterday, then in free practice 4 in a big fall. As Cal Crutchlow obviously wants to finish on the podium, we ride with Maverick Vinales. So far, absolute masterclass from a lad so young, 21 years old, only in his 2nd season of MotoGP. He is a world champion in Moto3, had some Moto2 wins as well, but immediately snatched up by Suzuki to make an early MotoGP debut. It has paid off, but the battle for second place continues to rage. Iannone and Marquez now with Cal Crutchlow. Marquez now up into 4th place, Rossi 3rd, and in 2nd place Andrea Iannone, and he hasn't been able to break away from Valentino Rossi. Rossi again thinks about the inside, he's not close enough as they come into the Brooklands corner.
Marquez is through on Crutchlow. You can see there Aleix Espargaro will be penalised with a 1-second penalty at the end of the race. I thought I saw a Suzuki running off at Maggots a little bit early on in the race, so it won't affect, well, Crutchlow. That's brave up the inside of Marquez at Woodcote. Oh, what a move by Crutchlow. Aggressive, hard, but fair. He picks up Marquez. That's flat out through there. Crutchlow, brave in the extreme. Brilliant move by Crutchlow to take that 4th place back from Marquez. Marquez getting a bit of a taste of his own medicine that time.
Here comes Crutchlow again. He's got up the inside of Valentino Rossi. Crutchlow is up on the podium place in 3rd place.
Crutchlow really starting to bare his teeth now. Brilliant moves on Marquez and Valentino Rossi in the space of 3 corners. Cal Crutchlow then back in the podium places in his home Grand Prix.
We ride with Valentino Rossi, Cal Crutchlow in front of him, under the bridge, fastest part of the circuit, down towards Stowe Corner, well over 320 kilometres an hour. Rossi sniffs up the inside and then says, no, if I got up the inside there, take both of them out into the gravel at Stowe Corner.
Crutchlow, can he close up on the brakes with that hard option front tyre on Andrea Iannone in the braking zone for Vale? Not quite. Iannone still holding firm in 2nd. That is Pedrosa and Andrea Dovizioso just can't quite get in that hunt for the podium right now. There is Maverick Vinales going through the Abbey curve, way ahead of Andrea Iannone. We're on board again with Valentino Rossi.
In front of him is Cal Crutchlow, and just in the red there, Andrea Iannone going through the farm curve. We saw Iannone go down there yesterday in a fairly big crash. Slowest part of the circuit, the loop, and then the village corner.
Andrea Iannone's doing a brilliant job here of managing those soft option tyres. Marquez picks up Valentino Rossi. Oh, that's really aggressive from Marquez. Well, these two have had some battle royales down the years.
He's not going to be
personal.
happy about that. This is personal. We ride with Rossi. I tell you, he's going to get up the inside of Brooklands. He's going to give it absolutely everything, and he has got up the inside of Brooklands, and there is nowhere for Marquez to go. This is personal. This is...
Oh, Vinales gone down. Andre Vinales crashed out of second place. He's down at the Luffield corner. Vinales out of second place, so this is now a battle for third in the race. There is Andre Vinales. Well, his finally his soft option front tyre has cried no more. It puts Crutchlow second, and this epic fight between Rossi and Marquez is now a fight for third.
Yeah, through Copse Corner they come. They have taken their gloves off, these two, as they have done on many times before. Oh, Marquez thought about getting up the inside, going into the Maggot's corner. No, he has got up the inside.
He's gone off. He's
gone
off
off the track. Marquez puts his hand up. He had to run straight on.
That's fine. He can come back on in front of Dani Pedrosa and Andre Dovizioso. He knew he couldn't come back on track in front of Valentino Rossi.
So that has changed the situation quite dramatically. Cal Crutchlow a second, Valentino Rossi third, then Marquez. Let's have a look at it again. He's just getting in too hot, isn't he? Yeah. He's just got to run it on.
That's a classic case of impatience and over-exuberance from Marquez. Look at this. What an on-board shot that is from Valentino Rossi. Brilliant from the gyroscopic camera.
Follows Marquez going off into the boondocks, into the country.
Marquez is right back on Valentino Rossi. He's going to have a look up the inside at the Abbey corner. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. Rossi just slightly later on the brakes as they peel through Abbey.
The red mist is down, the red mist is down with Marquez. He's got upstairs inside now with Valentino Rossi. And is he going to hold firm? The Rossi comes back at him, side by side, and Rossi back through. Marquez fights back. This is very personal indeed. I think Marquez has stolen it back again. He has. Rossi tries to get back up the inside. You'll never see better motorcycle racing. You never see better motorsport than this in the world.
Wheel to wheel, elbow to elbow between Marquez and Valentino Rossi here at the British Grand Prix. 4 laps and 3 corners remaining. Maverick Vinales in complete control of this race. He's 5 seconds clear of Cal Crutchlow in second place. But the fans, the 75,000 fans packed into Silverstone, captivated by this titanic battle between Marquez and Rossi for third.
And Dani Pedrosa now joining in the fun. He wants to help his teammate Marquez.
Well, Rossi and Marquez.
It's a shame in some ways. It's taking all the glory away from Maverick Vinales, isn't it?
Well, the Rossi-Marquez scrap is doing 2 things. They're carving each other up so much, it's given Cal Crutchlow the chance to break away in second, and it's brought Pedrosa and Dovizioso back into the hunt for the podium.
This is the battle for third place. It's very fierce indeed. 56-point gap now in the World Championship, if these positions remain the same. I can promise you these positions will not remain the same in the next 3.5 laps.
Marquez has probably got some blue paint on his leathers, and Valentino Rossi's probably got some red and orange paint on his leathers. It's been that close in this fight for third place. As we said, it's given Cal Crutchlow the chance to break away from Marquez in third place. Crutchlow's a second ahead now of Marquez.
Yeah, Crutchlow would not want to be involved in this. He would for enjoyment, but not for the position he stands in the race. Here is Scott Redding.
He hasn't had another crash.
It's not going to be the third crash for poor old Scott Redding, is it? Right, back to the battle for third place. Crutchlow has opened up a bit of an advantage. We have 3.5 laps to go. They come into the Abbey curve. What another ride by Cal Crutchlow. Second in Germany. Winner in Brno 2 weeks ago. And now running in second place.
It does look like Marquez has got the pace to get away from Rossi. Breathtaking shots here on board that gyroscopic camera from Valentino Rossi. That was so close. A face full of Marquez. Absolutely brilliant action.
It is. It's motor free. It's club racing, isn't it?
Oh, big moment for Crutchlow as he squeezed the power on coming out of Brooklands. That's going to give Marquez heart in this battle for second place. Crutchlow just asking for the power a little bit too early. He was thrown out of the seat. Gathered it all back up though. Crutchlow stays in second place.
The big crowd and this grandstands that engulf this Woodcote corner. They clap, but they're a little bit quieter. Crutchlow, 3 laps to go, tips it into Copse corner. The advantage at the front for Maverick Vinales, 4.6 seconds.
Got to take your hat off to Marquez, Nick. He's just put in a 2:02.825. He was half a second quicker than Crutchlow last time around. half a second quicker than Valentino Rossi. He's broken Rossi, no doubt about that. Marc Marquez is winning this personal duel for third place. Now he's all about hunting down Cal Crutchlow. You can forget about this man, Maverick Vinales, because he has long gone into the distance. Vinales leads by 4.6 seconds. Suzuki are about to be on the top step of a MotoGP podium for the first time since 2007. Chris Fumulin at Le Mans. If Maverick Vinales can keep his composure, he's been the top gun today, no doubt about that.
The battle for second place. Crutchlow on the brakes into club corner.
Oh dear, look at that. Davide Brivio, he cannot watch.
Because Davide Brivio was the man that instigated Rossi's move from Honda to Yamaha and masterminded success at Yamaha, wasn't he? He's doing the same at Suzuki now, and he's closing up all the time. Is Marc Marquez on Crutchlow as they go through the Abbey curve.
This was the moment he had coming through Brooklands on the last lap. He's just, yeah, look at that for Crutchlow. That was a big moment for Cal. And that's brought Marc Marquez right back into contention. Marc Marquez attacks Crutchlow. Marquez is the man on the charge in this race at the end of the British Grand Prix. And he takes second place from Cal Crutchlow. Has Crutchlow got anything to respond?
Oh, he clinically passed him, wasn't it? Very clean indeed. But here comes Crutchlow, absolutely side by side into Brooklands. He blinked, and now he runs in a bit wide, and Marquez has got up the inside, but Crutchlow has the advantage, but Marquez makes it stick. So Marquez now second, Crutchlow third, into Woodcote corner. There will be 2 laps to go. And I think Crutchlow's going to have one more nibble at him, don't you?
I think we can safely say that Marc Marquez hasn't been riding with the championship in mind today.
Here comes Crutchlow up into Cobb's corner.
He's got the inside line as well. Yeah, Marquez can't turn in because Cal Crutchlow's right there on the LCR on the rider. What a battle we've seen for second place, raged behind Maverick Vinales. It's been awesome between Crutchlow, between Marquez, between Valentino Rossi. Rossi looks out of it in 4th place. He's really struggling to try and get on the podium for the 2nd year in a row here at Silverstone.
They come through the last part of the complex, through the Chapel Curve, under the hanger straight. Good drive out of here, both of them on Hondas, of course. Now, will Marquez try to nip out of that slipstream any moment? Now, here he comes, up the inside on the brakes. He sweeps past Crutchlow.
Oh, he's in way too hot. He's in way too hot. Marquez has gone off the track. That's going to cost him the podium. It's podium over surely for Marquez. He got it all in way too hot on Cal Crutchlow. And Marquez has dropped back behind Rossi. He's dropped back behind Danny Pedrosa. Well, we said, would he throw caution to the wind? Well, he did, and it's backfired.
Here they are at Stoke Corner. He's just too fast. He nearly hit Cal Crutchlow.
That's why, yeah, it was nearly elbow to elbow, and all he's doing is going to the car park. And that is podium over for Marc Marquez, surely.
Well, as you so rightly say, Mark, full marks to this man. Maverick Vinales, what a ride on the Suzuki, but a fiercer battle as we've seen all season for second place.
Brilliant action. Marc Marquez, well, he's said all year long, if he hasn't been able to win the races, he'll quite happily settle for the points. Oh, dearie me. He's not been...
Is that settling for the points?
This has been Marc Marquez in all-out attack mode right from the get-go here. It's been absolutely sensational to watch the number 93 at work here in this British Grand Prix.
He's trying to get past his teammate Danny Pedrosa now, down at Brooklands corner. He's all over his rear wheel. He just doesn't know the meaning of the word, does he? Take it carefully, just pick up the World Championship points. We thought he did, but he doesn't. Through Woodcote they come, right on the rear wheel. Vinales has crossed the line already. Crutchlow in second place, Valentino Rossi third.
Yeah, Marquez will be kicking himself. Maverick Vinales then on the final lap. History beckons for the Suzuki rider. What a year it's been for the MotoGP World Championship as Marc Marquez tried to fight back through on Danny Pedrosa. Marquez back up to 4th. What a year for the MotoGP World Championship. 7 different winners we're about to be seeing with Maverick Vinales at the front. We could have 4 first-time winners in the last 5 Grand Prix here in MotoGP. Brilliant stuff.
Well, he was the star of the future. He's now the star of today. Davide Brivio can't.
His girlfriend cannot watch.
She's given up watching. Yeah. She's just looking through her fingers, isn't she?
She's got no fingernails left, that's for sure.
Down at club corner. Crutchlow now looks pretty safe in second place with Valentino Rossi third. Marquez in 4th place, but Marquez was up into second place.
Oh,
she can't look. The girlfriend is just hoping and praying. He's got half a lap to go here at Silverstone. He's into the Abbey curve. Crutchlow and Rossi are now there. Marc Marquez and Danny Pedrosa.
Take nothing away from Cal Crutchlow as well, Nick. It's been a brilliant ride from him to score a second successive podium. He's had some real miserable moments on home soil in the British Grand Prix as Cal Crutchlow, but he's putting all those behind him as Maverick Vinales, he comes through the loop. He has a good glance at the big screen there. Maverick Vinales edging ever closer to Suzuki's first victory since Le Mans in 2007. He comes down the Wellington straight. The Suzuki fans are in jubilant mood. Maverick Vinales, he's been MotoGP's top gun today.
Cal Crutchlow in second place, but now all eyes will turn to the 21-year-old Spaniard. His premier class maiden victory, Suzuki's first win since 2007. Maverick Vinales wins here at Silverstone.
Brilliant ride by Maverick Vinales. Cal Crutchlow takes a phenomenal second place. Valentino Rossi third. Marquez did find his way back into fourth place. What a ride by the Spaniard. He was all action throughout that 19-lap race. Danny Pedrosa fifth. Andrea Dovizioso in sixth place. Aleix Espargaro was seventh. That 1 second penalty won't alter his position. Jorge Lorenzo back in eighth.
Dano Petrucci crossing the line in ninth place. Just 9 riders across the line as we stand at the moment. Alvaro Bautista in 10th place.
There's Aleix Espargaro. Great to see him congratulating his teammate Maverick Vinales.
Yeah, Yoni Hernandez 11, Eugene Lavany 12. Alex Lowe's in 13th place, Hector Barbara 14, and in 15th place Tito Rabat and Jack Miller in 16th place. And I think Scott Redding may still be going despite these 2 crashes and should finish 17th.
There you go, confirmation. Chris Vermeulen, the last Suzuki MotoGP winner back in 2007. Well, that long run's ended. How many long barren runs are being ended at the moment? Ducati winning their first race in 6 years, a British rider winning for the first time in 35 years in Brno, and now Maverick Vinales, Suzuki's first winner in 9 years, and Cal Crutchlow, he looks almost as happy with that second place as he did with the win in Brno a couple of weeks ago, because that was a brilliant ride by Crutchlow.
Well, he fought off Marc Marquez, he fought off Valentino Rossi, he fought off Andrea Iannone. Superb stuff. There is his wife, Lucy. Brilliant stuff from Crutchlow. Boy, has his season turned on its head after so many disappointments. Valentino Rossi in 3rd place. Going to shake hands out with Cal Crutchlow.
I wouldn't leave it too long for Cal Crutchlow to have a second baby the way he's been performing since he had his first one.
Yeah. I'm sure Rossi is pleased to be on the podium. He will be happy to finish in front of Marc Marquez. We'll close a few points as far as the World Championship can go. But nobody who witnessed that about half a lap of pure mayhem between Rossi and Marquez. If you think they like each other, if you think they're not bitter rivals, just watch that footage.
That was just fantastic. Maverick Vinales, well,
I remember when he first came here and he took pole position. I think it may have been a 125 race, it being a Moto 3. He could not speak a word of English, and he came to me because I was doing the press conference, and I had to write the questions and the answers out for him. Now, he is a MotoGP star. He is a world champion in the making.
Yeah, what a day for Suzuki as well. Of course, they left the World Championship at the end of 2011 to take a sabbatical for 3 years. Many felt that, well, some felt that they would never come back. Some felt that when they did come back, they certainly wouldn't be in a position this early to be fighting for race wins. There's Valentino Rossi. He's taken 3 points out of Marc Marquez, so no big dent in Marquez's championship prospects. Great double wheelie from Rossi and Crutchlow down the international pitch straight.
Well, they're the 2 men, to be honest, that have made the crowd the size of it is at Silverstone. Valentino Rossi and Cal Crutchlow. But you're probably going to be telling your children, your grandchildren in years to come, I saw Maverick Vinales win his first MotoGP race, because he is going to win an awful lot more.
Marc Marquez comes in for a 4th place, and boy did he fight. Quite rightly, a round of applause from
I think
his
the crowd
mechanics.
are giving him a round of applause. I'm really glad to hear that, but you're not going to see a fiercer riding performance by anybody in the world than that.
Yeah, that was
absolutely brilliant from Marc Marquez. I hope he's smiling. He's lost 3 points in the World Championship. It's not the end of the world, is it?
This man will be smiling. Maverick Vinales. Suzuki back on the top step of the podium. It's been a hard going for the Hamamatsu factory since 2007.
And then they're knocking over Cal Crutchlow's dad there, aren't they?
I don't think Deck will mind too much yet. You can see there, just giving a pat on the back to Maverick Vinales.
Yeah, it's great them coming back into Grand Prix racing. There was a sad loss when they dropped out. But here they are, the two more heroes, Cal Crutchlow and Valentino Rossi. But congratulations, the girlfriend can now take her hands away from her face and kiss her man.
Well, they might have been cold and wet yesterday. They might be a little bit chilly today. Well, those British fans have seen unbelievable entertainment in all three classes here at the British Grand Prix. Whatever they paid for their tickets, well, they can't say that they did not get their money's worth, because today Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP has been the best advert possible for World Championship motorcycle racing. It's been breathtaking action throughout the day, Nick.
If you can't enjoy that, you really shouldn't be watching. And that goes to people who are interested, or fans, and people who are just tuning in for the first time. That is racing at the highest level. Cal Crutchlow back in, Valentino back in, Valentino Rossi back in. You'd have thought both of them had won the race the way they are celebrating.
Cal Crutchlow, that is his third podium finish in the last 4 races. Talk about red-hot form. There is Lucio Cecchinello. Somewhere in there, his wife Lucy, who's dragged herself away from new baby daughter Willow to come and congratulate hubby. He's had some tough times at the British Grand Prix, Cal Crutchlow, but he's getting quite accustomed to finding himself in Parc Ferme at the moment.
Valentino Rossi won the race here last year in the rain. He fought off the massive challenge from Marquez. I think psychologically that's really important for Valentino Rossi as well. Well, I just hope you've enjoyed Silverstone as much as we have. We've been apologising to everybody we've seen about the weather. Then we turned up with a Grand Prix and a rare old smile there from Dani Pedrosa. I'll tell you what, that was a real morale-boosting rider by Dani Pedrosa, hanging in there all the way through, eventually finishing in 5th place.
Yeah, 6.3 seconds off the race winner, so that's as closest as he's been to the front of the field for a long time. Headlines, though, will all be grabbed by that young man there, 21-year-old Spaniard Maverick Vinales, the 17th victory of his Grand Prix career, his first since Sepang in Malaysia in the Moto2 race in 2014. His third MotoGP front row. He's did it from
second podium, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant for Vinales. You know,
now the real race starts, getting everything packed up to get to Misano in 7 days' time.
Well, as we said, this is why Suzuki grabbed him out of Moto2 after just 1 year. This is why Yamaha have got all confidence in him to take the seat of Jorge Lorenzo.
He's letting the emotions go now, isn't he, David Avery?
He's won a few
great friend of Valentino Rossi, but they've done it. Suzuki are back. Ducati were back 2 races ago. It is what's so great about this season. Every race produces a little bit of history, doesn't it?
Brilliant.
Jack Miller in Assen, don't forget as well.
Well, we've had 4 first-time winners in the Premier class in the last 5 races. 7 winners now in 2016. That's the most we've had since 2006.
Yeah, the sport is in an incredible position at the moment.
So I correct myself, 7 winners in a season is the most we've had since the last few races of 1999 and the start of the 2000 season. 2006 was the last time we had 6 different winners. How could I forget Maverick Vinales winning that race? So 7 different winners in 12 MotoGP races here this year. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the best form of motorsport in the world.
Valentino Rossi and Cal Crutchlow exchange a few pleasantries and a few stories about things that had gone on in the race.
Well, they swapped a bit of paint at times as well, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Great race.
This is Marquez and Valentino Rossi. This was personal. This is as good as 3 or 4 bends you will ever see in Grand Prix racing, I think. Don't you? Look at it. They're kids, aren't they, on BMX bikes? But these are 250 mile, or 220 mile an hour MotoGP bikes, swapping paint, banging into each other. This is so personal. And in the end, it was Valentino Rossi who came out on top.
Maverick Vinales will enjoy watching all this back later on when he watches the replay. Oh, there was some absolutely stunning action, stunning footage. Great to see Valentino Rossi there shaking the hands of Davide Brivio. They won a fair few races at Yamaha when they were together, didn't they, back in the day?
He just whispered in his ear, though, you're not going to win any next year when you're my teammate.
Well, Valentino, I think a very important third place for the championship, but it certainly didn't look like an easy one. At the end there, some great battles with Mark and Cal. Tell us about them.
Yeah, you know, for the championship is just 3 points, but I'm very happy because it was a hard battle. I fight for all the race. I never give up because unfortunately after 8-9 laps I start to slide a lot on the rear, so it was very difficult. Control the bike, but at the end it was very funny with Marquez and Crutchlow, and I'm very happy for this podium.
Thanks a lot, Vale. Congratulations.
I love the way he describes it as very funny. If I was anywhere near it, would describe it as very scary, I think.
Yeah, scary, funny in equal measure.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. Valentino Rossi back on the podium again.
And this is Cal Crutchlow. Well, as you say, three podium finishes in the last 4 races, the win in Brno, the 2nd place in Germany, and here a 2nd place in his home Grand Prix. Just brilliant from Cal Crutchlow. And these fans have put up with a lot of inclement weather. We're a water. Here is Cal Crutchlow.
Well, Cal, from a win in the wet to a very hard-fought 2nd place in front of the home fans, how does it compare?
Yeah, I put up that. It was a long race. Good fun, great fun to excuse me, to be battling with the guys at the front. I think we deserve that result here. I think the crowd deserved it. They've backed me through thick and thin here over the years. Most of the time I've been in the hospital, so to be here and still on the podium for them is fantastic. A pole position and a 2nd place, I'll take it all day long. I didn't expect to be on the podium. I expected to be in the top 6, so to come away in 2nd place and battle with these guys over a full race distance at Silverstone is good. I controlled it at the end. I knew I had a little bit of a gap, so I was happy enough. And I want to thank everybody for their support. I want to thank my team and Honda for giving me a great package this weekend, and we'll try again next week in Misano.
Thanks a lot, Cal. Congratulations.
Yeah, and he will. He's in the form of his life, Cal Crutchlow.
Yeah,
they all seem to enjoy it so much, didn't they?
Well, that's what they thrive for. This is what these guys live for. That's why they go out onto the track to risk their lives. It's just brilliant entertainment right from the word go. This was Cal Crutchlow up the inside of Marc Marquez. Marquez picked a couple of fights today that perhaps normally he would win.
Yeah,
but
that's right. He ended up with a bit of a bloody nose, didn't he? He did. You're absolutely right. God, how much adrenaline must be coursing through your veins when you're doing this.
Yeah, look at this.
Did they actually?
Yeah, they clipped. They clipped. Yeah, they definitely touched.
And this is where he runs straight on, isn't it? So we mustn't forget the race winner, 21 years old, Maverick Vinales.
Well, Maverick, earlier this weekend you said you were the Friday champion. Well, today you are the Sunday champion. Suzuki's first win since 2007 and your first ever MotoGP victory. How does it feel?
It feels incredible. I mean, for what all I fight all the time now come true, you know, and one race like that I could manage all the time. The lap times were so good, you know, the team worked so much. I'm so grateful for them because I came to this weekend that I think I could win, you know, because I feel also really great on Silverstone always, and my bike was on a really good level, and today we did it, you know. This one dream that came true, I hope I can stay there and give to Suzuki more things like that.
Thanks a lot, Maverick. Congratulations.
As always, very calm, very measured, isn't he, Maverick Vinales? That's until he gets onto a MotoGP motorcycle.
Yeah, stunning performance. He did not put a foot wrong. Absolutely brilliant from Maverick Vinales. You can see there, no surprise to see the hashtag, which I'm sure is trending all around the world now. Hashtag Top Gun Mac. Of course, he is named. His father named him after Maverick, the character that played by Tom Cruise in the film a few years ago, the Hollywood blockbuster.
They took him on a plane, didn't they, last year?
Yeah, they did in Aragon.
I think that scared him a lot more than ever riding a motorcycle.
Well, he was flying today, no doubt about it. Brilliant performance. You go back to Chris Vermeulen's win at Le Mans in 2007 in the rain. But, you know, before that, Suzuki's last win before Vermeulen was way back in 2001, Sete Gibernau at Valencia.
Congratulations to Maverick Vinales. Congratulations to Suzuki. Congratulations to MotoGP, because that was... There's been 3 quite incredible races, and it just has been an amazing weekend. Sorry about the weather to all the people throughout the world. That's part of an English weekend, part of racing at Silverstone. And this is at the height of the battle. Marquez and Valentino Rossi, like a couple of kids, and that's Andrea Iannone going down in front of them. And he was right in there until he went down, wasn't he?
Looked like he was just maybe half a metre offline there, Andrea Iannone. This is on board with the factory Ducati rider. Yeah, I think he was just in a fraction wide there. Soft front tyre giving way on Andrea Iannone. You know, he would have certainly been in that podium battle. He would have loved a little scrap with Marquez and Valentino Rossi, wouldn't he?
He would have lapped it up.
You know what, Nick? I'm just thinking off the top of my head, and I'm pretty sure this must be right, as we get again confirmation of Suzuki's drought coming to an end. Chris Vermeulen in Le Mans 2007. Maverick Vinales must be the first rider in history to win in Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP.
Right, let's have a look. Think of Moto3. He must be.
Jack Miller's the only other rider that won in Moto3, and he didn't do Moto2, of course.
No, there we are. Again, history in the making. The podium beckons. Thank you, all three of you, and a few others in that MotoGP race, for providing such amazing entertainment. And congratulations to Suzuki. It was a big, big step for them, a big financial step especially, for them to come back into Grand Prix racing, and they have been rewarded. So here we go, the podium at Silverstone, round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship. As always, Valentino Rossi has to be reminded he's not on the podium because he's talking. He's talking to Cal Crutchlow. Crowd on their feet. And that's for Cal Crutchlow, as you can hear. But the race winner, Maverick Vinales.
Yeah, and was it coincidence that the three guys that started on the front row, the three guys that had the hard front tyre and the medium rear, all finished in the top three?
There you go. Davide Brivio. Well, Suzuki couldn't have brought a better man in, could they, to mastermind their return to Grand Prix racing. Peter Thomas from the Circuit of Wales makes the presentation. Suzuki back in the frame. 2007, Chris Vermeulen, over 9 years ago.
Valentino Rossi takes yet another MotoGP podium. He's the first rider today to start 250 MotoGP races, and he's done it from the podium. It's his 217th Grand Prix podium and his 181st in the Premier class. Remarkable.
Second place, Derek Redmond, the former British athlete, gives Cal Crutchlow the trophy. What a month it's been for the man that lives in the Isle of Man, but that was born just up the road from here in Coventry.
Yeah, 11th podium finish for Crutchlow.
But the race winner, history-making once again. He's 21 years old. He brings success back to Suzuki after his very first MotoGP victory. Congratulations, Maverick Vinales. So congratulations to Maverick Vinales, congratulations to all the riders in that amazing race. We wish good health to Loris Baz and Paul Espargaro, who crashed on turn 2 and the race had to be stopped and restarted and dropped by 1 lap. Sure, the Carver will now flow. And of course, we will be back in action in just 5 days' time for the first practice session for the Grand Prix of San Marino and the Riviera of Rimini at the Mazzano circuit. It's rained, it's been windy, it's been cold, but in all 3 classes the riders have come up with unbelievable entertainment for the crowd of 75,000. Very special day for British MotoGP when you see racing of this quality and this intensity. Suzuki back on the top step. Chris Vermeulen, I'm sure, is back in Australia doing his work as a television commentator. And the last Suzuki winner at Le Mans over 9 years ago. I think the last Suzuki on the podium here at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, Randy Mamola, in 1983.